Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here in the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to another episode of the 2007-2008 Green Bay Packer rebuild. That is right, we continue on, and we are no longer in 2007-2008. We are entering 2011-2012. And what makes this 2012 draft so significant is because it contains a few starting quarterbacks that could change a couple of teams' lives. That's right, this contains Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin III. People were saying that Andrew Luck was the greatest draft prospect since John Elway. Better than Peyton Manning, better than Troy Aikman, better than anybody. Better than Brett Favre, better than literally any prospect since John Elway. And he, to be fair, in real life, lived up to that hype. He was a very, very good NFL quarterback. Didn't really get hurt a lot in his early career. And then obviously we know what happened later on as the Colts roster around him started to diminish. He started to get hit a lot more and just kept getting injured a lot. And then just ended up retiring early because he just didn't want to get hit anymore. So Andrew Luck's career didn't really pan out the way that a lot of people may have wanted it to. Led to a few AFC Championship appearances, but no Super Bowls. Thanks to the New England Patriots, by the way. And then RG3, totally different career. He was on track to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And then we all know what happened. That playoff game, I think, was it in Washington or was it in Seattle? I don't remember where it was, but it was a rainy, sloppy game, and RG3 takes the knee injury and really is never the same after that. Has a few stints around the league, Cleveland, Baltimore, never really the guy anymore. It's a shame because RG3 had all the tools. He was a good thrower of the football. He was what Lamar Jackson could have been without it with injuries. Like, okay, I said that wrong. RG3 was Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson. And RG3 set the mold for what Lamar Jackson has taken and then obviously leveled up and taken to the moon because how good Lamar Jackson is. And obviously Lamar's a little bit better of an athlete than RG3 was in terms of just raw speed and athleticism. But RG3 was that prime example of a quarterback that can use his legs to get out of the pocket and do some real damage, or he can just sling it down the field for 60, 70 yards and get a touchdown. That was Lamar Jackson's mold, was RG3. So, sucks what happened to RG3 with the injury. Never was the same after that. But maybe in this universe, some team will draft him and he can be the GOAT. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We got to continue focusing on this roster and continuing to try to build Aaron Rodgers into what we want Aaron Rodgers to be. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest of all time in real life. At this moment, he's becoming a good NFL starting quarterback. He's becoming a quality NFL quarterback, but he's nowhere even close to what he is in real life. So we got to start building him up. He's got a lot of weapons, though. He's got a very talented wide receiver core led by Calvin Johnson and the newly added A.J. Green that we got in the 2011 draft. Plus, he's got Percy Harvin and Julian Edelman. So, I mean, those are two quality NFL receivers as well. But he's got those two big body targets to work with. He's got a pretty good offensive line, and his defense is getting a little bit better as well. So, Aaron Rodgers is primed and ready to take that next step, that next leap to the actual Pro Bowl level starting quarterback instead of just a quality NFL quarterback. So we're looking for him to take that next leap. I hope he does in this episode. I guess we'll find out. If you guys go on to enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and let's get started. So here we are in the 2011-2012 NFL season. We are ready and raring to go. This is what the roster will look like as we head into the season. Aaron Rodgers, 77 overall. Still star development. as long as he has a good enough season this year where he's throwing maybe like 4,000 yards, maybe 3,800 yards, something like that, and he's got a lot of touchdowns and very little interceptions, I'm hoping that that should vault him to superstar development for next season. Because we need him. He's already 27. We need him to take that step, or we're going to have to look for a new quarterback. And I don't really want to, because this is obviously the Packer rebuild. I want Aaron Rodgers to be our guy for this entire video, or this entire series, but we're going to have to make a tough decision if he's not developing as quickly as we need him to. At 27, it's going to be tough, especially in Madden. It's going to be tough. But he's our guy. We've got Arian Foster. He's going to be starter over Darren McFadden this year. X Factor just takes precedent at some point, and they're the same overall, so X Factor will start over non-X Factor. I mentioned earlier Calvin Johnson, AJ Green is now here. Doug Baldwin comes in. We got him in that same draft. We still got Percy Harvin. We've got Julian Edelman. We've got Danny Amendola. So the wide receiver core is really, really good right now. The offensive line is so good. Like, we've got so many good players. We got Trent Williams. We've got Max Unger, Josh Sitton, and Dwayne Brown all on the starters. And then on the backups, we've got Tyron Smith, Carl Nix, and Marquise Pouncey. I think. Is this Mike Pouncey or Marquise? Marquise, okay. So we've got great starters and great backups. We're looking really, really good. We've got Vernon Davis. But Vernon Davis at this point is same age as Aaron Rodgers. We're going to have to... That player model is not... That player model is not looking good. Okay, let's just back out of that. We've got Vernon Davis, who's 27 years old. He's a very, very good player with X Factor, obviously. But 82 overall, we're going to have to keep an eye on him. I'm not saying we're going to move on from him right now, but we're going to have to keep an eye on him. We do have Greg Olsen, who's just not developing right now. He's a 68 overall at star development. He's probably not developing because he is the backup, but I don't know. Let's see what... Tight end's a weird one. We'll have to see what we do. On the defense, we brought in J.J. Watt. We had a really, really good draft. The 2011 draft was really, really good to us. We had the option to either draft J.J. Watt or Von Miller. We traded up to number 2 to get either Von Miller or J.J. Watt. But I took a look at the linebacking core, and I realized we needed J.J. Watt more so than we needed Von Miller. It was a little bit of a controversial decision, and it was a little bit of a tough decision for me to make personally, because I do like both of those guys, and I think both of them would have been amazing. Either of them would have been amazing to have on the team. But we have A.J. Hawk, we have Clay Matthews already, so I didn't really want to add Von Miller into that mix and then have somebody be a backup. But we desperately needed a defensive lineman, and yeah, Von Miller can play on the defensive line, but in his early days, he's more so an outside edge rusher, like a stand-up linebacker. So Von Miller needed to be up on the linebacking core, and we didn't have really any room for that. So J.J. Watt was my pick. He will now start alongside, excuse me, he will now start alongside Vince Wilfork and Mario Williams, which is a very scary defensive line. I like that a whole lot. And we brought in Richard Sherman, who in a couple of seasons will probably be our number 1 corner. We do have Leon Hall and we have Sam Shields. We'll see what we do with those guys. We also have Jason McCourty as well. So I like our team right now. We have Cam Chancellor. We have Bob Sanders. So our defense is looking really, really good. And the ratings are showing that. We have an 85 defense, but an 80 overall offense. It's going to be very interesting to see how the offense plays. I think we should be able to win a bunch of games just because of the defense, but I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. 2012 NFL Draft. Here we are. Andrew Luck, RG3, the boys. I didn't mean to back out. The boys are here. It's also a very interesting draft class for Trent Richardson, that man right there. I will put these guys on the list just to keep them, just to keep them a track on them. We'll also put Kirk Cousins on the list. Obviously, Washington drafted both RG3 and Kirk Cousins, and it looked like it worked out for them with Kirk Cousins. He was a solid NFL quarterback for a while for them. Running backs, even though Trent Richardson is a bust, I'm still going to keep him on the list just in case. The muscle hamster, Doug Martin. LaMichael James was so good at Oregon. Why did he not play well in the NFL? He was so good. I'm pretty sure I just saw Robert Turbin on NFL Draft Combine coverage, so that's hilarious. Who else is here? Boom Herron, Dan Herron, okay. Man, this running back class was not good. Brandon Bolton. It's not a good running back class. Okay. Wide receivers, Justin Blackmon had so much potential, dog. He had so much potential. Michael Floyd as well. I'll put Alshon Jeffrey on there, T.Y. Hilton. Let's see. Marvin Jones could be a nice add to the team. Mohamed Sanu. There could be some big pieces to this wide receiver core that we could add. I like these guys. And there's Josh Gordon right down there. I think... Ooh, Jermaine Kearse too. I think... I've never done the 2012 draft with any of these rebuilds. So I don't know for sure, but I think Josh Gordon has star development. I'm not 100% sure he could very well have normal. But I am like 75% sure he has star development. So I guess we'll find out. Tight ends. Oh, man, Kobe Fleener was thought to be like the best tight end ever. Dwayne Allen was a solid player for a year or two. Orson Charles was nothing. I had a rookie card of Orson Charles. I always had an affinity for him because I had that rookie card. He sucks. Let's see. Anybody else then? Ooh, Garrett Selleck? Nah, not Garrett Selleck. Matt Khalil. We don't really need tackles anymore, but we can move some guys to interior because Matt Khalil can play center. Riley Reed. Mitchell Schwartz. Let's see. Anybody else? Austin Pastor. I never knew how to say his name properly. I think it's Pastor. I don't. Who cares? Ooh, Nate Potter. Zeitler is there at guard. Who else is here? This could be a pretty quality offensive line class. There's Kelvin Beachum. We can move him to tackle if we need to. Centers, Ben Jones. I'll put him on there. Mike Brewster. I don't really like it, but we have center. We don't need to really draft any centers. Kelechi Osemele. This is a really good right guard class. You got a bunch of good players at the right guard. You got the Castro, Osemele, and Brandon Brooks all in the same class. I like that a whole lot. Cordy Glenn. Oh yikes, Jonathan Martin. Bobby Massey. Who else? This guy's got a massive head. Yikes. Defensive line, Quentin Copels, Andre Branch, Shea McClellan, former Patriot Shea McClellan. Yeah, man, this is not a good defensive line class, but there's Chandler Jones. Also put Bruce Irvin on there, because I do think Bruce Irvin is a quality player. Mike Daniels, we can move to D tackle if we need to. And then the D tackles, Dontari Poe, Fletcher Cox, Michael Brockers, Derek Wolfe, we can put to the edge. Devin Still, maybe, possibly. Akeem Hicks, I'll put him on there from Regina. Gotta love Regina. Snacks Harrison, it's a good D-tackle class. I forget some of these guys were in this class. And then outside linebacker, we got Melvin Ingram. I thought Courtney Upshaw was going to be a really good player too. That's why I'm not an NFL scout. I thought a lot of these guys were going to be good NFL players. They were not. Demario Davis, absolutely. Tyre Whitehead, the other Brandon Marshall, Danny Trevathan. I'll even put Emmanuel Acho on there. Got to show some love to Emmanuel Acho. And then we got Kuechly, Hightower, Wagner. Yes, please. I want all three of them, to be fair. I want all three of them. This guy's got a massive head, too. What are these boys doing with these pictures? Why are they taking, like, zoomed-in pictures of these guys' faces? This guy's got a massive head. Outside linebackers, Nick Perry, Zach Brown, maybe. Michael Kendricks, if he's not, like, doing financial tax fraud or whatever he got busted for. Anybody else? No, not really. Those middle linebackers are going to be super good. Corners, I'll put Stephon Gilmore on there. I would really like to get Stephon Gilmore. If we can pair Stephon Gilmore with Richard Sherman, that's a lockdown cornerback room right there. That is nobody. It's a no-fly zone. Absolutely, nobody's getting past that. Tremaine Johnson. Anybody else? Ooh, Josh Norman action. Nate Ebner is a safety. I don't know why he's in corner. I guess he played corner a little bit, but he's more of a safety. I guess more of a rugby player, really. Alfonso Denard I'll put on there. Anybody else? No, all these guys are kind of wasteless. Tavon Wilson, Justin Bethel, Tashawn Gibson. That's about it. Mark Barrett, Harrison Smith. George Iloka was a fine player for a couple years. That's about it, too. Okay, so this class is going to be very, very interesting. Wait, what? Oh, I'm in Northeast. I was going to say, why did I put a kicker on my list? This is going to be quite the class. There are a lot of good players that I want. Specifically those linebackers. I want all 3 of them, if we're being totally honest with each other. I want all 3 of the linebackers. I want Kuechly, I want Hightower, I want Bobby Wagner, I even want Vontaze Burfict. Am I going to be able to get all these guys? Absolutely not. But if I could get Luke Kuechly, that'd be awesome. All right, we will see where we go from here. Defensive end, outside linebacker. I'll keep that as the National Scout because we still kind of could use some of that. So I'll keep that as the National Scout. That's fine. All right, so I'm going to simulate to the midseason mark, and we will catch up there, decide kind of what the game plan is, see how Aaron Rodgers is performing, see how the team is performing, and make our decisions with the scouting, all that kind of stuff. We have arrived at week 8, the midseason mark, and we sit at 6-1. I know, I'm shocked too. I can't believe we sit at 6-1. I don't know how this team is playing that well. I mean, I know we have a good team, but I didn't think we were going to be 6-1 level. Aaron Rodgers developing, that's what we need to see. Megatron's also playing well. AJ Green's been revealed to be a superstar development player, which is awesome. What about the defense? Is anybody going up on defense? Okay, we're getting some morale boosts on defense. JJ Watt hasn't yet been revealed. I'm assuming he's going to be an X factor, but I don't know for sure. He could very well be a superstar. I don't know 100%. But the team's looking good. We also have a breakout linebacker scenario. It's going to be AJ Hawk. Okay. It is going to be AJ Hawk going from star to superstar, potentially, in this game against Atlanta. That's going to be very interesting. I hope he does it. Probably not, but I hope he does it. The players that need new contracts, Mason Crosby needs one, Josh Sitton needs one, Dwayne. Okay, so we've got a few players that need new contracts. We'll accept all these options. We've got a few players that need new contracts. Okay, how are we going to make this work? We're not negative by that much, so we could probably just like restructure 1 or 2 contracts to be able to re-sign a couple of players. I guess we'll find out later on in the season. I haven't really decided yet what I want to do. The national focus, though, what's the national focus going to be? Probably, I don't know, probably defensive end? Do we have a lot of those on the list? We have no left ends, and we have 4 right ends. What about outside linebackers? We have a lot of left outside linebackers. Okay, so it's got to be outside linebackers. That's the obvious choice, because you get both left and right when you do that. So, boom. All the outside linebackers will be scouted up to like 95, 99%. That is perfect. We will keep simulating a little bit further. Hopefully AJ Hawk is able to grab that superstar development. That'd be awesome. We do lose the game, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he didn't get it. And he does get it. AJ Hawk has now superstar development. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Thank you, AJ Hawk, for actually delivering and getting the development trait upgrade. Usually when you lose, that means you didn't get it, but not all the time, but sometimes most of the time when you lose, it means you didn't get the upgrade. Luckily, he did get it this time. We beat the Chiefs. They were a bad team, though. They were like 1 win. We're 7-2. We lead the division, but this is a pretty intense game. This is our second meeting against the Vikings. We played them earlier in the season. And we lose 20-17. We can't lose against them. That's tough. Because that brings them level with us, right? Do they jump us? Okay, we still have the lead, but we're tied in the record. So we got to continue to win, or we're going to be in trouble. But let's choose some focus players here. So we've got ourselves 3 focus players to use. I really want to know about Justin Blackman. I'm super curious. I want to know about him. I also want to know about Josh Gordon. And I want to know about... Who else do I want to know about? I probably want to know about one of these 2 guys, or maybe all 3 of them, really. Let's go with Brandon Brooks. We'll know a little bit more about those 3, and then we will go from there as we simulate against the Bears to see if we can get the W against them and continue our lead over the Vikings. Yes, okay, and the Vikings lost too, so we get a huge boost. A game back, we get our game lead back. Sherman's growing, he's a 76 overall now. I'm now going to cut until the end of the season. We will decide our player negotiations at the end of the year, after the playoffs, all that stuff. I will catch you guys then. We made it to the end of the season. In the playoffs, we actually made the playoffs at 10-7. We had an epic collapse. We were winning a bunch of games. Then the last like 3 or 4 weeks of the season, we just lost every game and really just, I don't know what happened. We just did not play well for some reason. And we are, unfortunately, not winning the division, but barely making the playoffs. But this is the exact type of season that I was hoping Aaron Rodgers would have. This is the type of season I was hoping would get him up to superstar development. I guess we'll find out in the Super Bowl week if he does actually get it. But 3,800 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 10 picks. I'd like to see the interceptions still drop a little bit, maybe to like 6 or 7. But this is a very, very good season from Rodgers. He's finally starting to grow into the quarterback we need him to be. Foster gets 1,000 yards as his first season as the starter, and 9 touchdowns as well. McFadden had 6. Calvin Johnson, I was wondering how he grew so much, because I saw when I was simulating, he had like a bunch of upgrade points. So this is why. 1,200 yards and 4 touchdowns. He had a very, very good year. Not as many touchdowns as I would like to see, but it looks like Percy Harvin and AJ Green got the touchdowns. And AJ Green, his rookie season, 938 and 9. Harvin 763 and 8. Davis had 507. So okay. Defensively, Nick Collins led the team with 127 tackles as the backup. Wait, no, he's the starter over Earl Thomas, I think, right? No. We have Bob Sanders and Cam Chancellor. So I don't know. But Nick Collins, 127 tackles is pretty good. Chancellor had 95, 94 for Clay Matthews. Bush had 87. Boosh. 77 for Thomas. Hall had 50. Thomas, not Thomas. Thomas had 77. Tackle for loss leader was Matthews with 17. Williams had 14. Oh my God. Clay Matthews, 30 and a half sacks. What? I've never seen that in a normal simulation before. I've seen that. We've had that once before in one of my college football rebuilds that I did not recently, but like a few months ago. That happened. But other than that, like in a one of these videos, that I've never seen that before. 30 and a half sacks. Well, that's Defensive Player of the Year. 13 and a half for AJ Hawk, 11 and a half for Mario Williams. No wonder we were winning games, because Clay Matthews had 30 sacks. That's insane. 3 for Nick Collins, 2 for Bush, Chancellor, and Sanders with interceptions, and then 1 for Thomas, Hall, and Shields. 30 and a half sacks is crazy. Oh my God. Panthers versus Packers. We are the 5 seed. Panthers are only the 4 seed because they won their division at 9 and 8. We are the better team, so we should be able to get this done unless we're still losing. Okay. Oh, we blew them out 42-0. And now we take on the team that beat us in the division, the Minnesota Vikings. I think we split our season series. Or did they sweep us? I can't remember. I don't remember. But it doesn't matter because it's playoff time. Records go out the windows. We beat them. We are in the NFC title game. Is this the first year we've been in the playoffs, or did we make it last year? Who cares? I don't remember. I got a bad memory. I don't know why I'm asking. Like, you guys can tell me. Packers, Seahawks. This Seahawks team isn't as good as they could be because we have Cam Chancellor, we have Earl Thomas, and they don't have Russell Wilson yet. So I don't know how they're doing this good. But can we get to the Super Bowl? Is that going to be a thing? Oh, we lose 10-0. No. I thought we were going to get in the Super Bowl against the Chargers. That would have been crazy if we would have played in the Super Bowl. We are not a Super Bowl ready team. I'll tell you that much. But I thought we were going to be able to get there. But we lose 10-0 to the Seahawks. That's good for Aaron Rodgers' development. That's really, really promising. Really, really good. Chargers beat the Seahawks and win the Super Bowl. It's time now to do the dang thing and go look at development traits. So, who went up? Anybody go up? Rodgers, please? Rodgers stays at star development. That blows. Okay. Calvin is now an 86 overall. AJ Green's looking good. Percy's looking good as well. Baldwin is also superstar development. The offensive line's looking good. Alex Boone, we're just going to have to move on from. He's just not growing quick enough. He's just not going to grow quick enough. What about the defense? J.J. Watt is an X factor. There's A.J. Hawk, superstar. Anybody else? Sherman's now been revealed to be superstar. I don't see any other changes. Everybody else seems to be the same, so okay. But Clay Matthews with the freaking the freaking 30.5 sacks. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, dog? That's insane. Any big retirements? Just a few old guys. Obviously. All right, season recap. Season recap. LaDainian Tomlinson gets a championship and he's the MVP. Tony Romo is the MVP of the league. Whatever. Bill Belichick Coach of the Year. Golden Tate is the Offensive Player of the Year for the Cowboys. And our guy Clay Matthews is Defensive Player of the Year. That was pretty obvious. 30.5 sacks is almost always going to be Defensive Player of the Year. Julio Jones for the Giants is Offensive Rookie of the Year. And our guy Von Miller gets Defensive Rookie of the Year for the Raiders. Maybe we made the wrong decision. But, I mean, to be fair, Clay Matthews just had a Hall of Fame type of season. And A.J. Hawk goes from star to superstar. So, I mean, it's not all bad that we didn't draft Von Miller. But now here's the most important part. Because we have guys that need new contracts. We have guys that need new contracts, and we don't have the cap space to be able to re-sign those contracts. So, what are we going to do? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. It's not like we need Dwayne Brown because we have Tyron Smith. That's one of the key reasons why I drafted Tyron Smith, is to be a replacement for Dwayne Brown. But I would like to keep a guy like Carl Nix, although he's 27, only 71 overall. Maybe we don't need to keep him. I don't know. I want to keep some of these guys. Let me go to the actual negotiations. Let me go to the actual negotiations. We don't have to restructure that many deals if we wanted to bring anybody back. Mock draft number 3 is coming out. Let me go take a little peek skis. So we've got Tavares Jackson, Troy Smith, Clay Matthews. Well, we got to bring Clay Matthews back now. Mason Crosby. We probably need to bring Mason Crosby back, don't we? Accept the option on all of these guys. I think that was everybody that needed an option. Yeah, okay. So everybody's option's up. Carl Nix is not expensive, which is a bonus. Brandon Carr's really not that expensive either. It's really just... I mean, Josh Sitton we kind of need. Okay, let me try to renegotiate some of these contracts. Let's try to restructure something here. Who's making a lot of money for a couple of years that we can re-sign or that we can restructure? We might be able to move Calvin's money back. Let's try to manipulate Calvin's contract here. I think I can restructure. I don't have to go into that. Can I restructure it from here? Yeah, if I hit Y. Okay, perfect. So let's restructure Calvin. That'll free up 9.35. And then it'll add 1.86 per year for the final 5 years of the deal. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. So we move a little bit of money back on Calvin. And then we should probably do the same with Mario. Why do I keep going into that? It's just a habit of going into that, I guess. We can probably do the same with Mario. So that'll move 2.73 per year for the final 3 years of the contract. It'll be added to the last 3 years. But those two contracts should have given us enough money to re-sign a couple of guys. So that allows... Okay, that's only 7.6. So that we can't get Crosby, we can't get Sitton back. Okay, so we probably need to restructure like 2 more contracts. I don't want to get too crazy with the restructuring. That's just going to put us in a big hole. If we restructure Vernon Davis, that'll move a little bit more money around. Bob Sanders, Vince Wilfork. We should probably restructure Hawk's deal as well. Okay, so that puts us... That's 2 more contracts restructured. Where does that put the money? That puts the money at $15 million. That's still probably not enough to get... Oh, that's barely enough to get Sitton, but it's actually not because he doesn't want to be here, so we'd have to add even more money to that. I don't think I can. Same deal with Dwayne Brown. He doesn't want to be here, so... Oh, that's tough. But it does leave us enough money to like re-sign Wesley Woodard or Carl Nix or Jarrett Bush. I just think we're going to have to lose Josh Sitton, which is a little bit unfortunate. Crosby, we can bring back. How about we get Crosby on like a 6-year deal? We pay him 4.5, and we pay him 4 bonus. And he says, I enjoyed playing for you, but I think I'm going to test free agency. Franchise tag is $19 million for Mason Crosby. That's just not going to happen. So, I mean, I'll offer Jarrett Bush another contract. We'll pay him like 2 years, 3.5, and then 4. He's going to come back. And who else needs a new contract? Carl Nix. 3-year deal, $2 million, and a clean $1 million. And he's going to come back as well. 5.3 mil. We're just going to have to lose these guys. Maybe now that we have a little bit of cap room, we can trade them. I'm not sure if that's going to be possible or not. Can I trade these guys to get a little bit of money back? Or a little bit of value back, I mean. Let me go to the left guard spot. Josh Sitton. What's his value? 3rd round picks. PX? Emmanuel Sanders. We could get 25-year-old Emmanuel Sanders, who's an X factor at 78 overall. That is intriguing, to say the least. Marcus Cannon. He's only a 70. Sitton's got some pretty decent offers. But what I want to know is, can I get a replacement left guard? Because I got some options. I mean, those are some good play. I'd probably go with the Emmanuel Sanders deal, for being totally honest. But is there anybody here? Andrew Whitworth already 30. There's got to be a good left guard here. Rodney Hudson. 3 years left on the deal. Rodney Hudson's not bad. That's probably the best one I'm seeing here. He's still young. There's not really a whole lot of market for left guards, is there? I mean, there's like Matt Slauson. But I think Rodney Hudson might be our best candidate. He's still got 3 years on the deal. He's a little bit more expensive than Sitton, but he's 3 years younger, and he's 3 years on his deal. So I'm going to try to do this straight up. This would put... Oh, the Cowboys have absolutely no cap room. Well, that deal's out the window. Okay. There's no way I'm taking on enough money. So that's kind of crazy. Who was the other guy? It was Dwayne Brown. So what about if I put both of them together? We're able to get Chris Houston's an X Factor, Nick Mangold. Muhammad Wilkerson is intriguing, but we don't really have any room for him right now. There's Mike Pouncey. We could get Jeremy Zuta and a 2nd round pick this year. At 26, he's a 77 overall, star development. We get a... Oh, not this year. We get a 2nd round pick in 2014. I was reading that wrong. I don't hate that deal, but I also don't love it. I think I might try to do these deals individually. I kind of like that Emmanuel Sanders deal. It's super intriguing. Like, getting Emmanuel Sanders at an X Factor. Let me go to the Panthers and see how many years is his deal. Does he still have money, or still have years left on his deal? Or is he a free agent? He's got 2 years left on his contract, so he's going to want a little bit of money. Do we have the facilities to be able to get him back? He would go in here probably right in between these two. But then we have Baldwin and Edelman who would just kind of fall to the way. We have a lot of receivers. So maybe that's not the smartest thing to do. Oh, how do we make sure we get the right value for these guys? Maybe it's just draft picks. Maybe we just have to try to ask them for like a 1st and a 2nd and see what they say about that. What about just a 1st this year? Okay, what about just next year picks? I'll take a 1st and a 2nd next year. Do you value that? Okay, they don't really value that. I'll certainly take a 1st and a 2nd in 2014. That's a much better draft. What about a 1st in 2014? Okay, we could get a 1st in 2014. That is a much, much better NFL draft. We all know. I'll send a couple of receivers your way. I'll send another one because I got a lot of them that I don't want. Oh, we can only have one or 3 players. Okay. I'll send you a 7th round draft pick in 2014. There we go. So Josh Sitton basically gets us a 1st round pick in 2014. That's going to be future thinking right there. We know the 2014 draft is studded. Odell Beckham Jr., Aaron Donald, among many others. That's a studly draft class. So I'm happy about that. Now, let's see if we can trade Dwayne Brown for the same kind of deal. So let's go to left tackles. Dwayne Brown, can you get us a 1st round pick? Who needs a left tackle? The Broncos kind of need one. What about if you give me a 1st round pick and I give you Dwayne Brown? Okay, they don't like that much. Do we have a tight end I can give them? No. Do we have a quarterback that I can give them? I mean, I can give them Tavares Jackson if they want. Kind of. And then they need a receiver, and I have a bunch of them. I can give you Danny Amendola. Okay, and then we'll toss in some draft picks and we'll see what we got. So we've got 2 1st round picks I didn't even realize, but no 3rd rounder. Okay, and no 4th round pick in 2013. But the 2013 draft's kind of trash, to be honest. Okay, so what do we give up here? Maybe a 5th? Let's start with the 5th and see where it goes. Okay, we'll go up to a 4th, but that's about all I'm willing to go up with. I don't think I'm willing to do that. I don't think a 1st round pick's going to be possible. So what we do is we pivot and we ask for a 3rd rounder this year and a 4th rounder next year. 2 4th rounders. Give me 2 4th rounders and a 3rd rounder. Trade offer accepted. I wonder if I could have got more. I don't know. But that gets us at least a replacement 3rd round pick that we didn't have. Okay, so is there anybody else that we need to re-sign? I mean, Mason Crosby's about the only other one. I wonder if Brandon Carr has value. Because I don't think I'd be able to re-sign him. Mason Crosby's going to suck, but he's just asking for way too much money. And we already offered him a contract, and he said no to it, so I don't know what we're going to do with him. I guess I'll test the Brandon Carr market. I doubt that he's got anything crazy worth it. But now we have an extra 3rd round pick. We have a 4th round pick now in 2013, and we have an extra 4th in 2014. So we're looking pretty good on picks. Brandon Carr is... Okay, so we have a lot of depth at corner now. I didn't realize how much depth at corner we had. So Brandon Carr is kind of expendable. Is there a team that needs a corner maybe I can grab a couple draft picks for? Tampa needs a corner, so how about I ask for 2 3s for Brandon Carr? Okay, how about a 3 and a 4? No, a 4 and a 3, because we already have 2 4s for next year, so we don't need that. How about a 4 and a 3? Okay, that's working a little bit. What about if I throw another corner your way, like Vance Cuff? How do you like that? Okay, they like that a little bit more. What about if I also give you Alteron Werner? I don't really need Alteron anymore. And then I throw in a nice little juicy draft pick, like a 7th round pick this year. I bet that entices you. It kind of did. What about a 6th rounder in 2014? How's that? Very close, very close. I could give them a 6th in 2012. I don't really know. I don't really want to give them my 5th in 2014. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away Cuff, because he's just not really worth anything. And I'm going to try to find somebody else that they might want. Oh, Wesley Woodard. You want Wesley Woodard? Hold on, let me take away the 6th and see. Trade offer accepted. Okay, so we kept that 6th. That was crucial. So Brandon Carr and Wesley Woodard and Alteron Werner go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a 4th in 2013 and a 3rd in 2014. So that adds just a few more middle round picks, give us a little bit more depth, and one more trade negotiation. Does Mason Crosby have any value? Like, does a team want Mason Crosby? No, a team does not want Mason Crosby. Can I get a kicker for him? Like a swap kicker for kicker? Can I swap kicker for kicker? Matt Prater, he's got 1 year left on his deal. I need a kicker that has a little bit of contract left, but it doesn't look like I'm finding. Everybody's got 1 year left on their deals. Okay, so a lot of kickers are going to be changing up. I guess we'll just move on from Mason Crosby. Sorry, my guy. You want too much money. That's just real. I don't know why you want so much money, but you do. You want freaking 20 million. If you wanted maybe 10 million, we could talk, but you want 20 million. That's for a kicker. That's way too much money. That's crazy. So we got a lot of draft picks out of those trades, especially in 2014. That's going to be a good draft. I like that. Let's simulate to the next week. I hope that my restructuring of those contracts doesn't come back to bite us in the future. We do have a little bit of room to sign a free agent or two. Let me go and take a look at the team needs now that we've lost those players. We obviously need a kicker. What does the team look like now? So generate the best lineup. We've got Boone, we've got Nix. The guard positions are just not looking that good. Okay, wide receiver's still looking really, really good. Quarterback's fine. Defense is looking amazing in terms of just like pure development traits. Corners are looking good. We're probably getting close to starting Sherman. He needs 1 more year of development to catch everybody, but he's looking good there. Bob Sanders is a free agent after this next episode, so maybe we trade Bob Sanders next episode. I don't know. But those guard positions just not looking good. Sean Andrews is a free agent. Anquan Bolden, Reggie Wayne. Everybody here is just not really worth it. Tight ends, tackles. Logan Mankins being here. I wish he wanted to actually be on the team because I would probably throw a deal at him, but with 17 or whatever teams after him, and he doesn't want to be here. We don't have the money to be able to do that, so I'd rather keep the money. D tackles. I don't think there's going to be anybody here that I want to re-sign or want to throw an offer at to sign. We're looking pretty solid, yeah. So I guess the only thing would be a kicker. Maybe we go like Graham Gano. Let's just go for Graham Gano. We'll offer him like a 4-year deal. We'll pay him like 2.5 and 1.5. He should accept that. So let's go to the top 100, evaluate the offers, and Graham Gano is our new kicker. Perfect, fine, whatever. He's not as good as Mason Crosby, but he's a kicker. So let's go to the draft and make some magic happen. We have 2 first-round picks, but they're both pretty low in the first round. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? It's the 2012 draft class. So there are some very good players that are coming up available. This mock draft number 5 is going to be very interesting to see where everybody is projected to go, because that'll make our decision more prevalent. Are we going to have to trade up? Can we stay put? Do we trade down? Like, what? I don't know what the situation is going to be. Private workouts. Who else do I want to know about? So, who else do I want to know about? I probably want to know a little bit more about Kevin Zeitler now. And I probably need to know a little bit about these guys, since guard is probably our biggest need. So I think I'm going to focus on Kevin Zeitler, Osemele, and DeCastro, and we're just going to have to hope that those guys are good. All right, so now we've got ourselves mock draft number 5. Mo Claiborne's the number 1 projected player. All right, you do you, dog. Kansas City's got a generational quarterback, possibly 2 generational quarterbacks, and they're going to pass. Whatever. And then Mark Barron, and then Justin Blackman, Andrew Luck, Kuechly at 7, RG3 at 9, Chandler Jones at 13. Okay. DeCastro at 15. There's us at 17 with Russ. We're not taking Russ. And then where are we at here with Kirk Cousins? They want us to take 2 quarterbacks. Okay. Well, we're not going to do that. We're not Washington. I think trading up from 17 to 13 is not going to be difficult, especially with the trade thing all the way bought out. So we can easily get Chandler Jones. But we should probably also try and get one of the guards, whether it's DeCastro, Osemele, Brandon Brooks, whoever it may be. We should probably also try to get one of the guards because we need a guard. So what do we do here? Do we trade up? I think we do trade up from 17 to maybe like up here in this area, like 10 through 12, just to kind of have our bases covered. I'm probably going to miss out on Kuechly. We're going to miss out on a couple of guys. But if we can get up to like 11 or 12, we'll have a chance to get Chandler Jones or Stephon Gilmore or anybody. Okay, so we'll be good there. And then our other pick being so low at 29, I might try to trade up a little bit more. I don't know. I'll figure things out. I'll come back to you guys when I have the decisions made and when we have the draft picks acquired. Okay, so I've made my moves. I traded up to get number 11 and number 26. So now we sit at number 11 and number 26. We've got some good positioning now to be able to make some moves. I got up to number 11 so that, like I said before, we could be able to decide who we wanted to get, whether it was Chandler Jones or Stephon Gilmore or David DeCastro. And now we sit at 26, so we have this Titans pick now, so we can choose probably anybody down here who else we want. I don't really know who I'm going to choose. I could choose Stephon Gilmore. That might be the smartest thing to do. But I guess we'll find out. Let's simulate. Because it's not like we need Chandler Jones. It's kind of the same situation with Von Miller last year. We don't necessarily need Chandler Jones, but I would like to have him. So we'll see if the Chiefs make one of the biggest blunders of drafting history. They need a quarterback. Are they going to take Andrew Luck or RG3? They take Mo Claiborne. Okay, dog. You have fun. Mark Barron goes 2. Blackman goes 3. Is Jacksonville going to get their guy? They do. Jacksonville's got themselves a franchise quarterback. Duval County has themselves a franchise. And Buffalo's got the next one. Buffalo has gotten RG3. Melvin Ingram to the Rams. Kuechly to the Saints. Floyd to the Texans. Trent Richardson to the Giants. And then Dante Hightower to Tampa Bay. We are now here. We can take David DeCastro. We can take Chandler Jones. We can take Stephon Gilmore. I don't know what the right move is. Not really too sure. We need to probably take Stephon Gilmore. That's probably the thing that we need to do, because we did just re-sign Jarrett Bush, but it was only like a 2 or 3 year deal. We can move that contract if we need to. We have Leon Hall. How old is Leon Hall? Leon Hall is 27. Sam Shields I don't think is much older. How old is Sam Shields? Sam Shields is 24, so he's super young. So we have Sam Shields, we have Sam Shields, we have Leon Hall, we have Sherman, we have McCourty. So the quarterback room is looking pretty promising. We have 3 guys in Shields, Sherman, and McCourty who are all super young. And then Hall's not that much older at 27. Jared Bush is like 28, 29. So the quarterback room is looking pretty solid. The defensive line, we don't need Chandler Jones right now. The only place he could go is start at outside linebacker, but that's the same deal as Von Miller last year. So I think the best thing to do is to take David DeCastro, actually. I think that's the smartest thing to do, because we need better guards more than we need corners. And I know I hate to pass up on a guy like Stephon Gilmore, but I'm going to take David DeCastro. I'm hoping that he's a higher overall than 71 overall Carl Nix. That just seemed like the no-brainer idea after I thought about it. We don't need the other positions as bad. And Chandler Jones ends up in Oakland. Okay. Kobe Fleener, Stephon Gilmore's in Philadelphia, Bruce Irving, Harrison Smith, Michael Brockers, Russell Wilson's in Carolina. Tannehill goes to Miami. Look at that. Andre Branch, Whitney Merciless, and Derek Wolfe. And now we're back up at 26. Cordy Glenn is here. Matt Khalil is here. There's Zeitler. I think we need to go offensive lineman again. I know we have 2 first-round picks. Maybe this is Bobby Wagner. Ooh, Bobby looks good. I mean, we're trying to build the Legion of Boom. We already have Cam, Earl Thomas, and Richard Sherman. So, I mean, we're trying to build the Legion of Boom. And Bobby's the next piece of that. There are other guards available later on down the line. I know that Zeitler's probably the only one in left guard that we'd be willing to go after, and he's probably going to be pretty good. But we still got Brandon Brooks and Kelechi Osemele still on the table. So, I think the best course of action here is to take Bobby Wagner, because I don't think he's going to be available when we come up in the second round, because we pick at number 21 in the second round. He's definitely not going to be there. So I think the best thing to do is to grab ourselves Big Bobby Wagner and continue the Legion of Boom. Bobby Wagner, welcome to the squad. We do have James Laurinaitis at middle linebacker number 2, but that just gives us a little bit more flexibility. Maybe we need to trade somebody. Khalil goes the next pick. Cordy Glenn, Janoris Jenkins, Kendall Wright, Jerome Worthy, Doug Martin to Kansas City as well. Brock Osweiler to the Lions. Very interesting pick. Zeitler goes to Buffalo. We now sit at pick number 21. Is there anybody good available still? No T.Y. Hilton. I was hoping he might have been there, but T.Y.'s gone. Offensive line is looking a little... Okay, so Brandon Brooks has got to be the pick then, because there's no way Brandon Brooks makes it to round 3. There is a possibility that Demario Davis makes it to round 3. I doubt it, but Brandon Brooks has got to be our guy here. Brandon Brooks, boom. The decision was basically made for us because Kelechi Osemele was gone. So Brandon Brooks is our guy, building that offensive line. Round 3, pick 30. Demario Davis is certainly not going to be here now. I didn't realize it was pick 30 that we had. So who's still available? We've got ourselves some good receivers still left. We've got no Demario Davis, which is understandable. I didn't think he'd be here. Okay, so there's some good players left on this board. I'm leaning towards Josh Norman. That's kind of where I'm going. And I think that's going to be my pick. Josh Norman, add to the squad. Hidden development, 90 speed, 89 acceleration, 89 agility. It's another solid pickup. Adds another corner to the squad. We have a pick here in the 4th round, and then I think our last pick is pick 6, or round 6, yeah. So we have 2 picks left. 2 picks left to make some magic happen here. Who's it gonna be? I think it's going to be... I kind of want it to be Vontaze Burfict and Josh Gordon. I want to take 2 troublemakers. So that's what we're gonna do. Are they both undrafted? They're both projected undrafted, or potentially undrafted. Jermaine Kearse is probably the smarter option, but I want to take Josh Gordon just because I'm curious to see how he is. He does have hidden development. I was 75% right. Let's go. Josh Gordon. And now we find out the 6th round who's going to be left. Probably not a whole lot of on our board is going to be left. But let's go in here and find out. Our final pick of the draft. Jermaine Kearse is still there. I'll pick him up in free agency if he makes it. Okay, so Vontaze does get drafted, but Danny Trevathan is still there, which is not a bad option. I think I'm going to go Danny Trevathan. Very good player. Very good linebacker. We're going to take Danny. All right, so I think that was a pretty good draft. I really do. That was one of my more favorite drafts that we did. And if anybody makes it to free agency that was on that list, I will potentially take a look and see if we can get them. I don't know if they did make it or not. Julian Edelman, we're not trading. Not yet, at least. Draft recap. 74 overall for David DeCastro. That's higher overall than Carl Nix, so he'll start right away. Bobby's an 80 overall. Brandon Brooks is also a 74. Norman's a 72. Gordon's a 58. And Trevathan is a 59. So these 2 guys have development traits, but they're super low overalls. But I think that's still a W draft. The best player in the class was Andrew Luck, then Luke Kuechly, then Bobby Wagner. I'll take that. Dontari Poe, Stephon Gilmore. Okay. We still got some pretty quality NFL players there. Some pretty quality NFL players. We'll go to the next week. and we will see how the team looks headed into the 2012-2013 season. Let's go into the lineup, and then we will go in here and adjust it, generate the best lineup. DeCastro will start, then Boone. We probably could start Brandon Brooks because he might have a little bit more potential than Boone. I think I might do that anyway. Let's just start Brooks and DeCastro. Get the 2 rookies out developing already. Then we got Rodgers, who we need to have another good season. The offense is looking pretty good, though. We've got 3 probably really, really good receivers. Defensively, Wagner and Trevathan will be backing up the linebackers. Oh, yeah, we're looking good. We are looking real good. This team's going to get real good real quick. You watch. Now, the whole Bob Sanders thing is going to get pretty interesting because I don't know if we're going to be able to re-sign him. Actually, I think that we're almost pretty much guaranteed to not be able to re-sign him. So, we might have to trade him next episode. But J.J. Watt's going to continue to grow. I mean, if Clay Matthews can have a 30-sack season again, that'd be amazing. Bobby Wagner's probably going to start over James Laurinaitis pretty soon, which I don't like because I love James Laurinaitis. But that's just going to have to be how it goes, and that's what happens when you draft Bobby Wagner. He's just super good. Okay, so this team's looking real good. I like it. And we made it to the NFC title game this episode. So, I mean, we added a few more pieces. The offensive line's not as good as it was, but in a couple seasons it very well could be. We'll see how it goes. They have us ranked as 89 overall defense. I don't know if that's true, probably just because the development traits are so good, but I don't know. Maybe we can get back to the NFC title game. Maybe this time we can get to the Super Bowl. I guess we'll find out. That's going to do it for the episode, though. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.